Alright.
Searching for a program session.
Hello everyone, this is Master of the Assassins talking to all Assassin's Creed fans. And I'm here to tell you guys everything you need to know about the Assassin's Creed universe. And this is for assassins by assassins. Templars beware, because they will find
agents.
you. Now, I'm here to talk about something that a lot of people have been asking about my friend Ya Dreamz. Well, I should say in his videos. A lot of people have been asking you who is Daniel Cross. I'm here to tell you who he is and his past and why he's important and why he may be important in Assassin's Creed 3.
Your objective is to find and kill assigned targets.
Daniel Cross
being killed
was
by other Templars.
considered an assassin, but also a traitor. And to start off, we need to start at the very beginning of his life. Daniel's birth name is really unknown. He was dubbed Daniel Cross when he was kidnapped by Abstergo as a young boy. And as a child, he was experimented on. He was dubbed Subject 4. And after all these experiments were done, Daniel was tossed out of the streets. As a young boy, he probably had no memories of what happened. And so Daniel was a very lonely child. He had no family, no friends. And so throughout all of his life, Daniel was all alone. He grew up to be a petty criminal, and he suffered these kind of hallucinations, although he didn't know it, but they were actually the bleeding effect due to the animus. And thanks to these hallucinations, as you will, it caused him to turn to drugs and to alcohol, and eventually this addiction led to the death of his girlfriend. He was then charged and placed in jail, and then he was put under how should I put this? The court decided to give him this prescription to try and stop these hallucinations, but what they didn't know was that these were not merely hallucinations. This was actually due to the bleeding effect of the animus. And the bleeding effect that Daniel kept on suffering was that he was reliving and re-seeing the memories of his ancestor, Nikolai Orlov, who was an assassin during the Russian Revolution. Now, in 1998, when Daniel didn't take his prescription drugs, Daniel decided to go to a local bar instead, where he unsuccessfully tried to woo women, and instead ended up barfing in a toilet. And there, bleeding effect became worse. He started to relive the memory of his ancestor Nikolai, and started to see his ancestor's memory during an assassination attempt on Tsar Alexander III. And this part of the bleeding effect had become so bad that Daniel had almost killed someone for mistaking him for a Templar. Daniel, however, didn't, because he was taken by an assassin by the name of Hanna Muller and driven off. And there he learned that Hanna was part of the assassin order. The next day, Daniel woke in their camp, and he, after meeting the director of the camp, Paul Bellamy, he had learned everything about the Assassin's Order and about the Knights Templar. But of course, Daniel didn't believe this, and eventually wanted to leave. But before he actually did leave, he suffered from the bleeding effect again, and this time, it forced him to actually speak Russian, like we're talking, well, during Russian Revolution times. And after stopping several assassins, Daniel almost made it out of the camp. But it was only after Paul unleashed a hidden blade close to his neck did Daniel stop. And eventually, Daniel tried to make his new life as an assassin. But nothing really seemed to work. He kept on suffering from the bleeding effect. This would go on for quite a while, until eventually Daniel saw in his ancestor's memory what was the staff used by Rodrigo Borgia in Assassin's Creed 2. And after seeing his ancestors' memories for the final time, Daniel realized of what his purpose was in life. He had to meet the mentor of the assassins. So for the next 2 years, Daniel would go to every single assassin's camp across the globe and learn their ways and try to gain contact with the mentor. And eventually, Daniel would get his wish. After being sedated by 2 masked men, he awoke several days later in the mentor's hideout. And there, he learned that the mentor supported all the assassins across the globe, and also learned that the mentor was looking for an apprentice, someone to take his place.
Round finish.
Now, he had, to make him an official assassin, the mentor had given Daniel a hidden blade. And unfortunately, Daniel would actually put this to use on the mentor. And the reason for that is because when Daniel was a kid and was taken into Abstergo, they reprogrammed his mind so that should Daniel ever meet the mentor, he was to kill him. And after killing the mentor, it's as if Daniel came back to reality. He had no idea of what he had done or why he had done it. And hearing the people from outside the office, Daniel leaped from the building and went back to the one place where he felt safe. Because Daniel had killed the mentor, and because he had been to every single assassin's camp across the globe, every assassin had to be on the run, because it would only be a matter of time before the Templars would be there to kill them. And eventually, Daniel made his way back to the Abstergo Industries in Philadelphia. Now, Daniel needed to calm down and wanted to find a way to soothe himself. And there was only one way to do that. He wanted to get back into the Animus to relive his ancestors' memories. And after attacking an unfortunate secretary, he managed to get back into the Animus. And it seemed to have such a calming effect, he just was like in heaven. Not much is known about Daniel after that, but only that by 2012, Daniel had become a Master Templar and part of their hierarchy. Basically, Daniel was a very important character, the Templars. Eventually, it would lead him to be called a true hero by the other Templars. Now, on to my next report. This one regards on Daniel's ancestor, Nikolai Orlov. Nikolai was a Russian assassin during the Russian Revolution. And he was not actually born Russian. He was immigrated along with his father. His father joined the assassins and then decided to have his son join him at a young age. And among one of the things Daniel did as a small boy would meet the guy who would eventually lead the Russian Revolution, Vladimir Lenin. But unfortunately, during one incident, Nikolai witnessed the execution of one of his close friends and Lenin's brother, Alexander. And this dealt a serious blow on Nikolai because he felt he had failed his friend.
Lost.
And this would haunt him for at least a year. And eventually, sometime in 1888, Nikolai had gotten word from the from the mentor or master assassin of Russia, to do an assassination attempt on Tsar Alexander III. Hopping aboard a train, Nikolai killed many of the guards and was ready to kill Alexander. But when he opened the door, which was said to have Alexander in it, he found the family in there instead. And eventually, when Alexander saw him point a gun at his family, remember, he didn't know his family was there. Alexander and Nikolai were beating each other up, and eventually Nikolai stabbed Alexander in the side. And all this fighting actually caused the train to careen off the tracks and crash.
Contested.
Everyone, the whole family, Alexander and Nikolai, were the only ones who were truly unharmed from the crash. I don't know about the rest, but it can be assumed that they had serious injuries. As soon as Nikolai was able to get out of the train, Alexander started to beat him, and then challenged him by throwing him the Staff of Eden. Once again, that piece of Eden I said in my report on Daniel Cross. But despite having the staff and his assassin skills, Nikolai was easily beaten by Alexander, and would have been killed had not his family shown up. And not wanting to let his family see the bloodshed, Alexander let Nikolai live. And Nikolai had to return back to the Brotherhood to report his failure. Sometime within the next 20 years, Nikolai and Anna, who was his wife, had lost a child. Before Nikolai went on his mission to assassination attempt on Alexander, Anna was pregnant with their first child. But for some odd reason, an unfortunate reason I must say, the child was lost and had died before or after birth. And this caused Nikolai to become a bitter, cold, and angered person. And this would catch everyone's attention, his wife and the assassins, and they were very concerned. In 1908, the assassins captured a Templar by the name of Dolinsky, and Nikolai tortured the man to reveal the location of the staff. And many people were concerned for him because he had become much more twisted. It was like he was becoming a Templar. And after threatening Dolinsky's family, did Nikolai get the location of the staff? And that it was located in Siberia, and that it was located in Siberia. And Nikolai and several other assassins went to Tunguska to get it. Their main objective was to destroy the staff. Out of all the assassins that made it there, Nikolai would be the only survivor. After destroying the staff, it caused a massive explosion that killed everyone, save Nikolai, who barely escaped with several and severe wounds. And in 1917, several years later, Vladimir Lenin, who I mentioned earlier, was leading the Russian Revolution against the Tsars, Tsar Nicholas II and his family. And now, Nikolai had another mission. This one was to assassinate Tsar Nicholas II. After killing the guards, and he could have killed Nicholas so easily, but he decided not to. At least not yet, anyway. He had seen that Nicholas was holding a staff, and this made Nikolai worry if the Templars had another piece of Eden. Another staff, if you will, like the one he had destroyed. But Nikolai soon realized that the staff that Nicholas had was actually a fake. And to prove it, he actually broke it. And after that, he decided not to kill Nicholas, but warned him that the next assassin would not be as objective as him. And the reason for that is because Nikolai was tired of this life, tired of killing, and tired of all this. And eventually, with his life, Nikolai left Russia with his family. They had and left for America to start life all over again. Nick, I'm done. Well, And I will be talking about Assassin's Creed 1 and Assassin's Creed 2 in my next report. Stay in touch, guys. And remember, nothing is true, everything is permitted.